Good afternoon. It is exactly 1 p.m. East African time here in Nairobi. Good afternoon. This is TV47. Thank you for joining News Now at 1 p.m. with Sheilar Chelangat. But first, let's take a look at what is making headlines at this hour. The highlights. Government has been called upon to end abductions.
The era of extrajudicial killings and abductions must come to an end immediately.
The Senate Majority Chief Whip Boni Khalwale says it's a threat to national peace and stability. Third contingent of Kenya Police arrives in Haiti to provide backup to an understaffed security mission in the Caribbean country.
We want to welcome our brothers from Kenya who came today. Just like the Commandant Otenge said, you are home.
The Kenya Agricultural and Livestock Research Organization is ready to develop digital soil fertility maps.
But this time we want to move to dry chemistry. This is where now you are not mixing chemicals.
This is aimed at increasing food production. And governors have been urged to cease from issuing bursaries to learners.
Nataka tu kuwasihi hawa governors. Mkiambiwa na Auditor General kuna pahali kuna shida. Sio kusema ati anataka bursary yote iishe.
This is after the Controller of Budget noted it's not their mandate. Thank you for joining. The 30 minutes of this broadcast begins now. The Senate Majority Chief Whip and Kakamega Senator Dr. Boni Khalwale has issued a stern call to the government calling for an end to extrajudicial killings and abductions, warning of their persistent threat to national peace and stability. The Dr. Khalwale condemned the persistent cases of abductions and extrajudicial killings in the country, criticizing what he described as a lack of accountability from the government. He pointed out that the issue has persisted across various administrations from Mzee Jomo Kenyatta and now calls on the president to ensure justice for the victims of this crime.
That's fair, yes. I'm honored to have Helen as my wife. Asante sana kuja.
To my brother. Time has now come for us as national leaders. We sit down and ask ourselves, what happens in the office of the president? Wakati Kenyatta mzee alikuwa rais, there were extrajudicial killings, there were abductions. Mwishowe, Josiah Mwangi Kariuki, Tom Mboya wakauawa. We must ask ourselves, why? Wakati Kenyatta alienda Moi akaja, tukawa na extrajudicial killings na abductions. Watu wakafa, miongoni mwao akiwa Dr. Robert Ouko. We must ask ourselves as Kenyans, why? As Chief Whip, I appeal to the President of the Republic of Kenya. We now need a sober national conversation. The era of extrajudicial killings and abductions must come to an end immediately. At our age and experience, we are not supposed to sugarcoat something when it is wrong. There is no human being anaweza kuji-abduct alafu ajiue.
And away from that, following Margaret Nyakango's declaration on Thursday prohibiting devolved units from giving bursaries to learners in primary, secondary and institutions of higher learning, Nyandarua Women Rep has called on governors to heed the issue made by the COB. Speaking to the media during a courtesy call with over 20 NGAF bursary and scholarship beneficiaries who are now planning to join higher learning institutions and will be fully sponsored by the lawmaker, Faith Gitau Gitau supported the move by the budget controller by saying that there must be a clear framework on where and whose office the parents are supposed to get the bursary from. Gitau said that there has been confusion from needy parents, making some to be locked out as they do not understand whose office they should go to, and some even denied, for instance, the governance fund because they received a bursary from Women Reps NGAF Kitty.
Leo nimekutana na wale watoto wangu wale nasomesha na scholarship kutoka form 1 up to form 4, na leo hii niko na furaha sana kwa sababu almost 20 of them wamepita mtihani. Wanakuja kujua kwa sababu wamepita kama nitawalipia hata university, na nimewahakikishia mimi nitawasomesha mpaka wamalize university na hatimaye tuwatafutie kazi ya kufanya. Tuseme kama mimi napatanga 1.9 million for 25 wards. Governor akona 197 million. Hiyo ni basari mingi sana. Na hata nikiwa nimepatia mtoto basari na haitoshi, aende kwa governor. Governor na yeye anatakiwa amuongezee hii basari kwa sababu ako nayo ndio huyu mtoto asome. Na nataka tu kuwasihi hawa governors, mkiambiwa na Auditor General kuna pahali kuna shida, sio kusema ati anataka basari yote iishe. Kwa hivyo mkiangalia hiyo basari vizuri, mpeane vizuri, jia taratibu mzuri, watoto watasoma, na muangalie ni wapi pesa inapotea, kwa sababu auditor anakuja kuwasaidia, sio kuwafinyilia. Auditor kipoint somewhere kuna shida hapa, angalia, sio kukufinya, lakini kukuambia angalia hapa pesa inapotea. Kwa sababu hiyo ya ECD, kusema ukweli, hata mimi naona hapo kuna shida kidogo.
County alituchukua akatupatia basari, scholarship ya basari. Hapo mtoto wangu akaanza kusoma, akanunuliwa uniform, akalipiwa school fees kutoka form 1 mpaka akamaliza form 4.
Mimi amekuwa amenisomesha for the 4 years. Amenilipia fees, transport kutoka home kwenda shule. Mama angepata pesa ya kunilipia hata fare. So mama county ni alikuwa na support na kila kitu, vitabu, mentorship. Hata tukiwa wakati tumefunga alikuwa na tumenta. We are so proud of her that today we did our cases last year and today we have passed. May God be praying.
And 200 Kenyan police officers arrived in Haiti on Saturday, providing backup to an understaffed security mission in the Caribbean country where rampant gang violence has displaced more than 1 million people. While flagging off the first 400 group of police officers for the United Nations-led peace mission in June last year, President William Ruto expressed confidence of finding lasting peace in the conflict-ravaged Haiti. President Ruto told the officers that they were selected based on their integrity, professionalism and capabilities to be part of the peace mission team. The officers are also accountable for patrolling, community policing and training and supervising Haitian law enforcement personnel. This is the third contingent of Kenyan police to be sent to Port-au-Prince in an effort to deal with notorious gangs who have destabilized the country.
And I know many questions are being asked by some people to say, we haven't sorted every other problem, and why are we donating our police officers to go, yet we still have many other problems in the country? We don't usually do or give out of abundance of what we have. Giving is the spirit that is in us as Kenya. And this sacrifice we are making is so that it can have a multiplier also effect in inspiring other young people who are going to serve our country here, who continue to serve our country, to do even and work harder, knowing that their brothers and their sisters are out there doing our country.
The assignment is important. It is important for our country, it is important for Haiti. It is important for you as individual officers. I want to remind you that you are individual representatives of our country. And more importantly, representatives of the National Police Service. So your conduct there is critically important for all of us here. I know your trainers are here, they are listening. And we don't want to come, to come back here to get some of you who would get engaged in matters that are not good. So it's my advice as the Inspector General, the National Police Service, that you will remain our ambassadors there.
We want to say thank you to the people of Kenya and thank you to the government of Kenya. And also, we want to welcome our brothers from Kenya who came today. Just like the Commandant Otenge said, you are home. So be home and feel home. We have to say right now, the Kenyan troops are in a region in Haiti called Atibonite, and they are fighting hard. These are challenging times for Haiti. And in challenging times, we need friends like you to help us face the challenges. We want to thank you.
And in a move to increase farm produce in different counties, the Kenya Agricultural and Livestock Research Organization, KALRO, has collaborated with county governments to develop digital soil fertility maps under a project funded by the World Bank. In the project, an estimation of more than 77,000 soil samples are set to be collected from 45 counties with the aim of testing the quality of soils that will inform types of interventions targeting to increase food production. Our reporter Robert Gakure tells us more.
In an initiative aimed at boosting food production across Kenya, the Kenya Agricultural and Livestock Research Organization, KALRO, has partnered with county governments with the aim of addressing food security challenges in the country. Deputy Director of KALRO Horticulture Research Institute, Dr. Daniel Gikara, said the project, dubbed National Agricultural Value Chain Development Project, commenced in 2024 and is expected to run for 3 years, and that it will create digital soil nutrient maps in the country based on different soil attributes.
We are improving the way we do soil sampling and also analysis. In the past, we were fully depending on what we call soil wet chemistry. That is where you mix chemicals and you get the things that you want. But this time, we want to move to dry chemistry. This is where now you are not mixing chemicals.
Speaking at Murang'a University during training of agripreneurs recruited to champion the project in Murang'a County, the director underscored the need for soil testing, saying overuse of fertilizers among other farm chemicals have depleted soil nutrients.
Our soils are depleted of nutrients. Number two, we know that our soils are very acidic. The pH is very low. And those are some of the things that make our fertility to be low, because the farmers do not know. But now with this exercise, we shall be able to determine the soil pH, the nutrient status.
Officials from the County Agriculture Department noted that the project will lead to increased food production, as the recruited agripreneurs will be on the ground to advise farmers on what types of crops to plant in their farms and inputs to use.
We have contracted 7 agripreneurs per every ward, meaning you can imagine 7 times that 5 wards, those are already employed, enrolled agripreneurs who are going to help the agriculture. It's mentorship program, because you have few agriculture officers who are going to train and mentor the agripreneurs so that they can take the role of advising farmers.
A total of 2,417 agripreneurs in Murang'a received training on how to successfully implement the project. Robert Gakure, TV47, Murang'a County.
Thank you, Robert. And away from that, Cabinet Secretary for SMEs Wycliffe Oparanya has encouraged residents of Seregea Likuyani area, Kakamega County, to give cooperative associations priority in their farming in an effort to bring development to their region. Speaking at the sensitization of Seregea farmers, Likuyani and Ikolomani members of parliament, Innocent Mugabe and Bernard Shinyali respectively, said it was important for Western residents to embrace the broad-based government which is key in bringing development to the Western Kenya region.
Nikiwa nimesimamia KCC, paka nyinyi watu wangu mshirikiane na KCC karibu. Mkipeleka maziwa kwa KCC, mnajua KCC imeandika watoto wetu wengi, hawa watoto wataendelea kuwa na kazi. Lakini kama mnafifia, wengine wanakuja hapa, wanachukua maziwa yenu kwa shilingi 38, na hapa KCC inapeana 50. Na tumesema KCC itakuwa mbele kwa mambo ya maziwa.
Pesa ya cooperative yote ilikuwa inapanda mlima. Sina mna hiyo? Sasa tunataka hii pesa ya cooperative ikuje wapi? Ikuje hapa. Sina mna hiyo? Tunataka ikuje hapa Likuyani, ikuje huku Western, ndio pia sisi tusikie utamu wa kuwa wa Kenya na tuinue uchumi wa Kenya sisi wote. Kwa hivyo teremusha hiyo pesa kabisa iendelee kuja huku kwetu.
Kwa vita Kenya. Kwa sababu sasa mnaona hawa watu wakikuja hapa. Sisi tutasaidia wale kupigana. Sisi tutafurahi kwa sababu huyu na sisi tuone maendeleo ile ilikuwa inaenda mahali pengine.
And a concern has been raised over unpaid and domestic work by women in rural areas over persistence of gender unequal distribution of care responsibilities. A study done in 2021 by the Government of Kenya, United Nations Women and Kenya Bureau of Statistics with funds from the Bill Gates Foundation shows that the amount of time spent on unpaid care and domestic on women is 3 times more than men. Speaking during the launch of care policy in West Pokot County on Saturday, Elizabeth Obande, who leads the UN Women Economic Empowerment in Kenya, says the policy program looks at finalization of the national care policy and socialization, within communities in Kenya.
I'm particularly excited about this care policy work that we are launching because really it speaks to the unpaid care work that becomes one of the barriers to women engaging in economic activities. And I'm excited to see men participate in the launch of the policy and their excitement around wanting to understand what it is all about and their participation in reducing the time poverty that women have so that it can free up that time for women to engage in productive activities.
And we are here as UN Women whose responsibility is gender equality and empowerment of women, who are facilitating the government of Kenya to develop that program and to socialize that program so that we are all part and parcel of reduction of this time spent on unpaid care.
Empowering women to take care of themselves has also made them take their children back to school and discourage issues FGM and early marriages. So together with the young women, we are ready to work with them and to assure them that through the county government of West Pokot, that will be able to at least allocate some money in the budget to support such programs.
Parents and guardians in Bungoma County have been urged to take full responsibility of mentoring their children, especially those who completed their secondary school education. Speaking to the media, Naitiri Boys High School Chief Principal Samuel Kiminisi said parents should ensure that their children make good use of the internet instead of abusing leaders. Further, Kiminisi urged parents to pay school fees on time to enable smooth running of school activities, which will lead to excellent results at the end of the year.
Ningependa kutoa mwito kwa wazazi wetu wawe wanalipa karo kwa wakati, ili wanafunzi tusiwasumbue wanafunzi wetu kuwatuma nyumbani kutafuta karo. Walipe kwa wakati ili wanafunzi wasalie shuleni na waweze kuwa na wakati wa kutosha pamoja na walimu ili kuandaliwa kwa mitihani yao. Wanafunzi pia nasidi kutoa mwito kwa wanafunzi wetu waimarishe viwango vya elimu, kwa sababu elimu na matokeo bora huenda sambamba. Lakini mwanafunzi asipokuwa na nidhamu, mara nyingi kukaa shuleni inakuwa ni vigumu, kwa sababu kila wakati atapatikana katika makosa. Na kuna changamoto pia ambayo imeibuka hivi karibuni, vijana kutumia mtandao vibaya, na hii inasababishwa na viwango vya nidhamu ya hawa vijana. Waweze kutumia mitandao kwa njia nzuri, waweze kudumisha nidhamu wakati ambapo wanatumia mitandao. Kwanza wanafunzi, kuna mengi ambayo wanaweza kujifunza kupitia mtandao.
All right, community leaders from Wajir County have issued a passionate plea to the government of Kenya for the immediate intervention in the case of Abdullahi Issa Ibrahim, a military officer held as prisoner of war by Al-Shabaab for the past decade. Abdullahi, captured alongside colleagues during the El Ade military camp attack, has remained in captivity since 2015. A recently released video confirming his survival has brought both relief and anguish to his family, who have endured immense suffering over the years.
Statement by community leaders on Abdullahi Issa Ibrahim, military officer held as prisoner of war by Al-Shabaab in Somalia. Abdullahi Issa Ibrahim hails from Wajir County. He has been held as a prisoner of war by Al-Shabaab for the past 10 years. He was captured along with other colleagues attack on another military camp by Al-Shabaab.
Abdullahi Issa Ibrahim, who is held prisoner of war since 2016 January. We are here as the entire family and the community at large. My request to the president is, if the so-called superpower nations in this world, who has the capacity to end this world in one day, are negotiating over prisoners of war, even Kenya can do the same. Our humble request to the president is, please release these gallant soldiers who are held captives by Al-Shabaab for the last 9 years, since January 2016. As a family, we are going through a lot, and my brother has dedicated his entire life to the military. He was part of the peacekeeping forces that oversaw Namibia got its independence. He was part of the peacekeeping forces that saw South Sudan became a nation, and today it's unfortunate that he's in the hands of Al-Shabaab.
And away from that, Kenyans have been reminded to embrace solving their small issues in small claim courts and shun away trying to take action on their own, or rather losing their belongings without hope of reprocessing them. Speaking in Mombasa during a forum that brought together human rights defenders and law practitioners, Naila Abdallah, the founder's Sister for Justice, noted that Kenyans have not yet been well sensitized on the role of small claim courts, at the same time lauding them for reducing junk of cases in courts.
Kwamba tusife moyo kama wananchi na kama wanabiashara, waweze kujua iwapo kama kuna mtu unamdai ama kuna mtu anakudai ama unadaiwa, basi kwa njia nzuri ama kwa njia ya kimahakama wameweza kutatua ama wataweza kutatua kesi zako, ili mradi tu usiweze kuchukua hatua ya uhalifu ama ya crime issue. Manake tunajua sana watu wakiweza kukopeshana ama kukiwa na utesi baina ya mtu, hasa ikifika mahali ya fedha ama ukifika mahali unajua unatoa jasho lako, kufanya jambo lolote ibaya ni rahisi.
Na nchini as a whole, kwa sababu sasa watu ambao pengine walikuwa wamelemewa kupeleka madai yao, sasa wameweza kupeleka kesi zao kotini na wameweza